Get ready for the big revival, the real estate revival, that is. Now on 77 WABC, your New York weekend.
Get ready for the big revival.
It's Rand on Real Estate with Greg Rand.
Welcome to the big real estate revival. My name is Greg Rand. This is 77 WABC and WABCradio.com. This show is all about seeing past the Great Recession. My mission here is to help you see past it, to show you how to make the right moves now so that you can look back in 10 years and know that you played this thing like a champ. My name again is Greg Rand. My website is OwnAmerica.com. That's Own America, like how cool is it that you can own a piece of America. I'm here with Laura Smith, my producer. How are you?
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, always it's a pleasure to have you here. So the show today is going to be great. We're going to talk about real estate investing as an entrepreneurial pursuit. We're going to dig into what I like to call second-tier cities. Okay, there's a special opportunity out there when you go past, New York, L.A., and Chicago and start digging into these cities with smaller populations but bigger potential. We're going to dig in on that and talk about one in particular, Jacksonville, Florida. We'll get to that in another segment. We're going to talk about the investment strategy that we espouse here, which is buy, improve, and hold. Everyone's heard of buy and hold, right? But professional investors look for an opportunity to improve something, okay? An ugly duckling. Find something about a property that's missing, fix it, and increase value. So we're going to dig into that. We want to take your calls. Anything real estate, give me a call, especially if you don't agree with me. If you're having trouble shaking the negativity out there, love to hear from you because I want to see if I can help you fix that. But if you have an idea on a piece of property that you think could use improvements, whether it be physical or otherwise, call me on that. Our number here is 800-848-WABC. That's 800-848-9222. So get on the phones, give us a call. Let's talk about this. This really is the opportunity of your lifetime right now in real estate investment. So we're going to get into all those kind of things in your calls. But first, I want to talk about, you can't be sitting here in Midtown Manhattan on September 10th and not make reference to what happened not far from here 10 years ago. Coming in today, my mom actually called me and said, "Can you call in sick?"
Aww.
So, Mom, I don't think it works that way on radio. It's like the show must go on kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting, we're sitting here, 20 stories above Penn Station right now. And so, you're coming down and it crosses your mind that we have an elevated terror threat right now, et cetera. And everybody's out there talking about where they were 10 years ago when it hit, what they were thinking, how it felt and everything. I want to take a little bit of a different approach, and that is to take you back there and think for a minute. September 11th hit a year or 2 years after the tech stock bubble burst, okay? And I'm wondering why we didn't have the Great Recession back then, right? We're slogging through this painful recession right now that was a result of the credit crisis and, the housing bubble, et cetera. But how come we didn't have a Great Recession back in 2001? I mean, the circumstances back then were better in terms of being perfect for a major economic slump because we were in a bit of a recession coming out of the last decade. We had this massive tech stock bubble, so, trillions of dollars of wealth evaporated overnight. A lot of people lost a lot of money. And then right after that, we get this unprecedented attack on the homeland right down there in downtown Manhattan. Clearly, the objective was to take our economy out, okay, and drive us down. So why? Why didn't we have a Great Recession back then? And if you ponder this, if you listen to this show, if you read my book, Crash Boom, available on Amazon, take my courses, you're going to know that I believe deeply in the idea that these kinds of economic phenomenon, like booms and crashes, they certainly have an economic component to them, but they have a human component. And the human component, I've always believed, is more important. We get crazy. Go back to the Great Depression. The roaring 20s, everybody's crazy, everybody's greedy, everybody's having a big party, stock market crashes, everybody freaks out. And for 14 years, we have a depression that was prolonged by people's inability to shake it off, to snap out of it, all right? The belief was, and I interviewed a bunch of folks from my book who lived through it, and it's true. The belief was it's going to get worse, it's going to stay bad, and a lot of people talk about World War II, building tanks, building airplanes is what got us out of the Great Depression, but it wasn't, all right? It was fighting and winning World War II that got us out of the Great Depression from the human being standpoint, okay? We had to, as a people, get distracted by something more important than the Depression to actually snap us out of it. I look back 10 years ago, and I can't help but think that the reason why we didn't have the Great Recession back in the early part of the 2000s was because we all got real serious about what was important in life. All right? I mean, that put that event put everything in focus, all right? And we didn't have time anymore or energy to squabble over our differences, all right? Like today, you know, if you hate Republicans, if you hate Democrats, if you hate unions, if you hate fat cats on Wall Street, I don't care who you hate. We just got to get over that and get past it. And an event like this, the 10-year anniversary, I feel like it's got me focused. Like I'm ticked off again. You know, I'm watching it on TV. They're showing the footage of 9/11, you know, in a big way this week. And I'm finding myself getting mad all over again. And I kind of feel like I want to embrace that. You know? Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't a bad thing. When we all got ticked off 10 years ago, that I believe, you know, our leaders back then, love them or don't love them, they gave us the right message back then. They said, don't stop living, right? Don't lock yourself in your cave, and don't not get on airplanes. Don't not go to restaurants. Don't not go to movies. Don't you dare let them win by having you change your lifestyle. Don't be afraid. You have to keep being Americans. You have to keep living your life. That was a little thing that I think went a really long way because, you know what, we did that. Mm-hmm. We did that. And they must have been real frustrated out there in their caves that we were over here going about our business. It was beautiful coming into the city today because with my mom calling me and freaking me out, saying take a day off, this city is going along the way it always goes along. There was a whole crowd of people hanging out in front of the library. There was, you know, Bryant Park was jammed. There's just, you know, there's a somber tone, but there's definitely that sense that, hey, we have to continue to live our lives. So the message here and the tie-in with real estate is the idea that you have to shake it off, okay? You can't worry about your neighbors, okay? This is not something I can't sit here and solve, you know, everybody in this country being mad at each other these days. But the truth is that we're never getting out of this recession until we get over it. We're never going to get out of this until we break that pattern and decide, and it's an individual thing. I've made that decision. I want you to make that decision where you say, you know what, I know that in these kinds of crises there is huge opportunity. I know this. I'm hearing all this negativity all around me. I don't care. Okay, double dip recession, guess what? We got one, okay? We're in it right now. I think we're in the same recession that we've been in for the last 3 years, but call it what you want. We're there, but you don't have to be, and you shouldn't be. And so you may have another idea, okay, of how to capitalize on this situation, how to build business, how to build wealth, how to use your ingenuity and your hard work and some of your capital to go out and build wealth despite what's going on right now. But if you don't have an idea, that's what this show is about, because I've got one for you. So we're going to come back here and we're going to talk. We have a couple of calls. We're going to jump to them. We're going to talk about Jacksonville, Florida. We're going to talk about buy, improve, hold. What I want to do is I want to welcome some of the new affiliates of the OwnAmerica Network. You're listening to Rand on Real Estate, which is brought to you by the OwnAmerica Network. We're proud to welcome our new affiliates this month: Century 21 Beggins in Tampa, Capstone Residential in Jacksonville, Coldwell Banker Preferred in Las Vegas, RE/MAX Advantage in Las Vegas, ERA Real Estate throughout Central New Jersey, Coldwell Banker Coastal Alliance in Orange County, California, ERA Caputo in Nassau County, New York, RE/MAX of Barrington in Chicago, RE/MAX Properties in Colorado Springs, RE/MAX Best Choice in St. Louis, Watson Realty Group in Jacksonville, and, of course, Better Homes and Gardens, Rand Realty, my family business. If you'd like to bring the OwnAmerica Network to a town near you, call us at 888-332-7722. You're listening to Rand on Real Estate on 77 WABC. Back in a minute.